Hey, welcome back to Whitetail Garage. This week's episode, just going to be working on a few things here in the garage. We've got to get the upper intake on. Got those clamps for the fuel line, so I'll try and get those organized over in that corner. And then I'm just going to start working on wiring. So I've got the fuel pump to wire. I've got to wire up the alternator, just kind of clean up the inner fender on the driver's side here. And then hopefully start to piece back the interior. I don't know how much I'll be able to get done. I'm just working on it today, this weekend, so we'll see what all we get accomplished. All right, so I've got the fuel system all buttoned up. You can see I've got these two lines holding together, and then the back line is supporting these other two lines. I'm trying to keep it as far away from that exhaust as I can. It's 3.5, 4 fingers distance. Let me know what y'all think, if you think that's too close and I need to shield it. I feel like that's probably fine. I know stock fuel rail or fuel lines would have come up somewhere in here and kind of crossed through here right by the exhaust, or the right by this side of the turbo. So with a blanket on the hottest part of the system, you know, maybe that's the same. I don't know, let me know what you think. That's where I'm going to run it for now, and I'll put a shield if I have to. One thing to note is that none of this is attached to the firewall, so you cannot attach fuel lines to the firewall. I don't know if running them just against the firewall is against regulation. I know you're not allowed to like attach them there, but I don't know if just running them by the firewall is a problem. I don't think it is, because I mean, this you can't help, right? You're running by it. So I don't know if there's a minimum amount or what. So we'll see if tech ever gives me any grief for that. And then your 10 pins, you know how these always break. I always just run a zip tie over them, because you can cut the zip tie and replace it. It's a pretty long zip tie, but all of my 10 pins, the connectors broke. And so if not, you'll be diagnosing, you know, intermittent issues with those things kind of vibrating loose and having bad connections. So then ran the ground to the back of this cylinder head, the injector ground. I was half considering it taking to the firewall because they're aluminum heads, but we'll see if I have any issues and I can adjust that ground or run another ground strap off of that. I've got this ground strap that I still need to bolt up, but this is going to be my front ground strap to go to the frame rail that goes to the timing cover right there. And then I want to do the same thing on this side, another ground strap just like that one. Not that it needs it, but just for kind of symmetry. But I might not be able to do that side because of the wastegate and all that being in the way. I certainly don't want to deal with heat issues. So next, I'm going to tuck my 10 pins down as far as they'll go, kind of sitting on the back of the engine, and install the upper intake. So one of the things that I want to eventually do is eliminate the EGR, and you can do that. They have those EGR spacers, you know, that are about the thickness of that, and you just replace. My problem is that the tubing for this system, I don't believe will reach if I cut that 1.5 inches out, you know, whatever that distance is, about 1.5 inches. If I cut that out of this length, I don't feel like it'll reach, and I don't have the part yet anyway. So what I'm going to do for now is just eliminate the EGR valve on the spacer and just cap that. So I'm going to have to fabricate a cap for it. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. All right, so finish that block off plate, and now I'm just going to clean this gasket. Block off plate I am painting, so while the paint dries, I'll clean this gasket off here. All right, so got the intake bolted up. It's sitting in its final resting place. Once the paint dries, I'll come back in and put the block off plate on the back of the intake. But it is all bolted up, snug and ready. So I think the next thing I'm going to work on, I want to go ahead and get that upper radiator hose done. That's I've got the metal pipe that you get from LMR, the black metal pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and make that work. And then I need to go ahead and start the vacuum lines. I really want to get one of those aluminum blocks, but I think I'll get this going first and then worry about the aluminum block. But I've got vacuum lines that I have to get to the blow-off valve, which is down there, and fuel pressure regulator. And I think that's it. I don't have vacuum anywhere else that I'm aware of. Because I don't think I'll do the PCV valve. Under boost, it's liable to put too much pressure on. So I'll probably leave that because I do have both of these to vent to atmosphere. So I don't need to worry about like a negative crankcase pressure. So yeah, that's where I'm going to go next. So got the radiator hose done, and then got this installed, got the upper intake installed. It's completely buttoned up, and then started working down here inside the fender. So the blow-off valve and the wastegate. So wastegate, I've got a boost line that runs to that charge pipe, and then the blow-off valve, I've got vacuum that runs up here that goes with the harness, and then goes to the factory spot there. And then up here it comes up and tees into the fuel pressure regulator, and then it's gonna go right here with these brake lines across the firewall and then into the intake right here on this top one. The only vacuum I need is for the fuel pressure regulator and then the blow-off valve that's down there. So then this is running to the back of my boost gauge inside the cab. So I don't need this vacuum tree at all. And in fact, I'll keep one of these plugged, and I'd like to get a brass plug for the back of it rather than a piece of rubber on the nipple. And then run the boost gauge to this guy right here, and then that is all done. So I'll work on that. I'll work on that next time. But we're getting there. All right, well, I'm gonna call that done. So got quite a bit of work done, but it was a bunch of stuff that you guys probably didn't really care to see. So after getting the intake on, getting it bolted up, I ran vacuum lines in the fender, and got the radiator hose done with that pipe. Didn't quite get done what I thought I would. Ran out of time, but these little tasks, they tend to drag and take it from you. So, but did get a lot done, and happy with what I accomplished. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.